On my third beer for this podcast, you dicks.
It's not our fault.
Man, it's like I can't even handle beer anymore.
They didn't force you to start drinking.
Coming to you
from Southwest Florida. This is. Oh, we need to figure out that second part. No. Alright, this is
Kevin
and James. We are Fractal Minds, and this is Off the Mindcast. We have our best buddies in the world, Al and Brendon.
Howdy.
How's it going, guys?
Awesome.
I didn't wave to the mic this time.
He was pointing to the side.
He pointed to the crowds.
Brennan's letting everyone know he's hitting a home run today.
Yep. That's right. We are sure going to hit
over the left field.
Directly over my head.
Over my head.
No pun intended.
I'm better off dead.
That's right. I mixed my whiskey.
Yeah, it is. I know what you're talking about.
Does this look infected?
All right, guys. So,
what you guys been up to?
What the topics is?
There's been a lot of stuff that happened this last week. We have net neutrality. We have House of Cards.
Head transplants could be a thing.
Oh my goodness.
We talked about that the other week, didn't we?
Nope. No. That came out the same time as the net neutrality. No, it was right after.
I swear we talked about it either in a podcast or in a game.
No, not.
I just must have been imagining things. How I normally
you had conversations with yourself.
Yeah, I have thoughts with myself.
It's your sixth sense.
My sixth sense. Oh.
No, like that movie with Bruce Willis and M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong.
The one called Sixth Sense.
Yeah, that movie about Senseless with Marlon Wayans. Is that what you're talking about?
You're Rain Man, Alex.
Not quite.
Whatever, Kevin.
Are we going to talk about the head transplant today?
No, we're not.
Let's talk about our grinds.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll definitely get there. That's a very interesting science topic.
Hey, let's do a throwback Tuesday on what happened last week. What we talked about last week about the colors and your interpretation of colors. We talked about that the day before.
We did.
The biggest interpretation of color story ever happened in world history. I say world history because I seen pages in a different language with that same dress.
Trending worldwide.
Yeah.
Okay, so
all because of us.
We're talking about the blue dress and our blue and black dress and white and gold dress controversy. You, depending on your eyesight, apparently you saw a different color. Kevin, you saw
blue and black.
I saw blue and black. James saw blue and black.
I saw blue and black.
I seen a still picture. I don't think it counts.
It wasn't a moving picture.
Here's the thing. I was going to say, a professor at the University of Rochester had an explanation for it. That we have different color codes in our eyes. The fewest codes we have are our blue codes. Some people have more blue codes than others.
Oh, this is a blue code supremacy thing? That's BS.
Well, that's not how it is.
That's not how it is, but they think that people with more blue codes might be able to see shades of blue a little bit better than others.
Sure, and that's where true color blindness comes from. It's not like you don't see color like black and white like an animal does, if you will, but you see different shadings.
Yep.
And so, it's pretty cool.
I see gold. What's the big deal? I seen still pictures. I seen still pictures where it was blue and black. It's just stupid.
Well, this is kind of like an example of color blindness. You're not able...
I know people that are colorblind.
So are you thinking like the photos we're seeing online, like there's one black and blue one out there and there's one white and gold one out there? It depends on which one you see. That oh god, I saw black and blue and really...
Yeah.
No, that's not...
It depends on what angle you see, whatever you're looking at it. And you'll see all different colors because of just the way the light hits the dress. What the hell is wrong with people? Why can't they understand that?
Well, see, like, here's the thing. The same photo, there's a cashier at work. That's who brought it to my attention.
I bet this was a woman.
She was.
Knew it. I knew it.
I walked over there. She's like, "Did you see this?" She showed me the photo, and she said, "What color do you see?" I'm like, "I see blue and black." She goes, "I see white and gold." It's the same photo. Like
everyone's getting the same photo.
Yeah, but you just turn the photo.
No, it's not that easy. It's what we personally see.
I follow Mexican Problems on Instagram.
There's your problem.
They did that thing, and I'm like, how do people not see that?
That's not the thing, though.
It changes colors. No, it changes colors. Everybody, quit pissing your pants about colors.
Hey,
That's enough.
This is gonna be a really bad segue, but you know how we're 3 against 1 on this? You know what else we're 3 against 1 on?
I'll stand my ground.
Should we go for the heavy topic now?
Should we talk? Yeah, or do we want to say what we've been into?
Yeah, let's talk about what we've been into before I boil over.
Since you brought it up, you motherfucker. What have you been up to?
All right. Well,
who've you been into?
About later, or if we don't, House of Cards.
Yes, we'll talk about that.
Oh God,
House of Cards. I'm already 6.
Wow.
I've seen it all. I've seen all the episodes.
You already watched the whole thing.
Hell yeah!
Watched it one night.
Okay.
Almost. I watched 9 episodes in one night.
That's a lot of tea.
BT dubs.
The True Fractal Minds duo here, Kevin and James, we're watching it together.
We're up to episode
4. Al decides to all watch it.
I went rogue. I said
sure did.
FTW, and it's not for the win this time. It's serious.
Forewarning.
I went rogue. Watched it all.
Some foreshadowing there for his opinions on House of Cards.
Yeah. I was kind of disappointed, but that'll be my burn or grind or whatever it's called.
We're going to take a commercial break real quick. Today's podcast is brought to you by the coffee that was made by Les and Jake and sponsored by Sweetwater Organic Coffee.
Just grab whatever's next to you.
I don't know what you're talking about, Kevin. This is a sponsor, a paid sponsor. They're sponsored podcast. All right, Brendon, what did you have else going on?
Yeah,
you watched some House of Cards that premiered on Friday.
Yep, on Netflix. And I've been listening to a lot of Alt J.
Cool. Whoa, what the hell is Alt J?
Alt J
is that when a girl?
An alternative J.
Yeah.
No, it's
not specifically a girl.
Oh, sorry. When a person,
there you go,
alternately.
It's just an alternative job.
You have to pay $1 to listen to that.
That's all it is.
That's all it is. It's not, the jobs you're accustomed to, like, hey, I need some drywall work done, or, I got a leak in the pipes. No, this is an alternative type of job. It's like I need to trim my carpet down a little bit or something. I don't know.
Oh, trim that carpet? Yeah.
It's some alternative type of job.
Do you manscape?
I'm not talking about that either, you sicko. God, Dirty Minds, right? They should call you Dirty Minds instead of Fractal Minds. Sickos.
Alright, so what
back to the Mockingjay.
Alt J is a British alternative indie band that...
oh yeah, you're on the British kick right now.
Yeah, I am. That and...
like the Beatles?
The Beatles, I saw a guy today with a... what was it? Lonely Arts Club band shirt, and it had the Beatles album cover.
Okay.
But instead of the world leaders and important figures of the time that the Beatles album had, it had artist all over it. It was a really cool shirt. The guy was a hippie, and he was traveling across the country.
Like Renaissance and all those, like classic?
From all over the place. I mean, all the way to Andy Warhol.
Cool.
I mean, it was just all the way back. It was
nice.
It was a cool shirt. He was a cool person. It was fun to talk to him. He was traveling across the country, just doing his own thing.
Oh, wow.
Had a crazy beard, and was just like, didn't give a shit.
Nice.
So sounds like a poser to me.
Sounds like a hippie.
But all
there's only one true hippie in this room, and it's me. I'll go ahead and say.
Okay, Mr. Suit.
I'm wearing a dress suit and slacks with nice deep purple socks, but I'm the damn hippie around here.
Got dressed nice for an audio podcast.
Yeah. We don't have the GoPro set up yet, Alex. That's right, we have a GoPro.
Kevin has a GoPro.
Coming soon.
Coming soon.
We're going to have a camp show, and I'll still be in my dress shirt.
That's when you'll dress casual.
At the end of it, who knows what you'll be in.
You'll dress casual for that.
Dress casual, like undies casual. All right. Undies and pizza.
All right, I want to hear about these bands.
It's an alternative, psychedelic, funky band. that has really surreal lyrics that you can read whenever you want into it. It's upbeat. It's an awesome band. I'd
Alt-J?
suggest it to anybody. It's Alt, like A-L-T.
Yeah.
And then /J.
Okay. Cool. I'll have to check it out. Spotify, I presume?
Spotify.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
I'll have to check it out.
Spotify that hoe. Kevin, what about you?
I also have been to House of Cards. Just an update to last week. I finished Bosch, which no one knows what it's about. All I got out last week. It's the title.
No, what are you talking about?
I was watching Bosch.
You were able
which you never did what you did for Brendon for me. Hey, I want to hear about Bosch. You just
hey Kevin, I want to hear about Bosch.
Kevin,
no,
sorry.
I'm not talking about it. Other than to say that I finished it.
Why'd you break it up?
Because I finished it. And the ending kind of fell flat compared to like True Detective, but it's probably because the True Detective characters are not going to be Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson like before.
For season 2?
Yeah, it's going to be changed characters. Whereas Bosch is going to continue to be Detective Bosch.
Oh, that just
Did
sounds
you say
bad.
True Detective fell flat?
No.
Unlike.
Unlike True Detective. Like it just. I mean,
Did
you
you finished it? I forgot.
Yeah, I watched all the way through.
Okay, I forgot.
Yeah. I had 2 episodes left before the
I
last.
kind of want to watch it again.
Yeah, that was good first season.
I've seen it twice. It was just as good the second time.
Cool.
This thing.
And I still have to watch it. I watched the last 3 episodes. I've explained this before. I watched the last 3 episodes, and
that's it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
so,
and in my opinion, the first part of it is so much better.
What about those llamas? Speaking of racial...
No, don't you fucking dare bring up the llamas.
What llamas?
The llamas that escaped, and it was a 2.5-hour chase, and everyone blew it out of proportion.
Hey guys,
there was a controversial llama chase?
Oh shit, there's an ambulance out there.
What is it?
Real life is happening, guys, on the Off the Mindcast. There's red lights flashing outside. Al, report from the street.
Something happened to the house?
I don't see any smoke, but there's like emergency personnel at a house down the street. Not on our street, but it's a street.
Across?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we're okay.
We're okay. No one's going.
We don't gotta help out.
Off the Mindcast.
Nobody's gonna
Real
come
talk.
up to us and be like, "Hey guys, mind pitching in?"
Can you stop your important podcast and help us out?
Yeah.
We rescue a cat in a tree.
We're like, no
I
guys,
can
I'm
run over
sorry. We can't save this family from a burning down house. We have a podcast to do.
If
we
I
need
can
to talk about net neutrality.
Yeah.
If I can get a super duper long USB cord, I can run over there and interview him.
Oh, that'd be great.
Oh man! Oh
shit.
Like wireless.
You just need the GoPro, really?
Oh, well.
Oh, next time.
I'll walk in there, the EMS team sitting there like doing CPR. Move aside! I'm here.
What's happening right now?
There were no shots fired for anybody wondering, so this is this
No
must have
shots
been
fired.
like a stabbing
At least.
to the throat because there was no screaming either.
Or strangling. Choking.
Maybe, you never know.
A chicken?
Some people's desires are unconventional. So. But
Only you would know, Alex.
I guess.
Only you would know.
I guess.
So, Bosch.
Wow, that's how I finished. It didn't have the greatest ending it was building up to.
Okay.
But Brendon, you're talking about. It's what I was trying to get to. Alex is the one who threw it over to me because you were on what is it, Europe kick? You said or
British? Yeah.
Or British. Like, have you watched? There was a movie that James is always talking about, Bronson.
I've heard of it. It has the
Bronson, yeah.
It has the guy from Batman in it.
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. Yeah.
Yep. He played Bane in Dark Knight Rises.
It's a movie or is it a TV show?
Bronson is a TV show. It is based off of a real life inmate in London who, or at least England, but he has spent most of his life in solitary confinement.
Kind of like me.
Nothing like Alex or Al, whoever your name is. I can't even remember anymore. But Charles Bronson, this name that was given to him.
Why are they copyrighting Charles Bronson?
No,
This isn't Death Wish.
He was the real life person who this movie is based off. Was given this name as a fighting name. That's not his birth name. I forget what his birth name is because it's been a while since I've seen this movie. But
How many Death Wishes have there been? I
least-
counted at least 5. I think maybe
I
there's
haven't
been
seen
4.
any Death Wishes.
Yeah, it's an old-
I haven't
it's
seen any
old.
all the way through, but I've caught some parts of it, and every time I caught it, somebody was getting shot.
But yeah, this character Charles Bronson, or the actually real life person, he just loves to be in prison. Like he cannot be in the real world. He just basically wants to be in prison and be confined. That's where he like really feels alive. Yeah. And he will just fight the prison guards and just to go back to like solitary confinement. And he's crazy. He's super big. He's like
it's kind of like the original Batman when Christian Bale was in prison. But we're not talking about Christian Bale here. We're talking about Tom Hardy, which was in the third Batman.
Oh, he was imprisoned in that one. No, he was in the Monk.
Yeah. Was he ever imprisoned in the second one now?
No.
That's weird. You would think if they're going to have Christian Bale, Batman in prison, they'd have him at least, if they're going to have him in prison twice, they'll have him in prison all 3 times that he's in Batman. But they didn't do it in the second one. I don't understand why.
Always bringing.
The symbolism must have not been there for some reason. I don't know.
Alright, so...
Can we think of like a figurative prison he was in?
Oh, like a mind prison?
Maybe he was, yeah.
Well, maybe the second one was with the Joker.
No, sorry, yes. I was thinking of Two-Face. But yes, it is with Joker.
You mean Harvey Dent?
Harvey Dent, yes, Two-Face.
Yeah.
You don't believe it's Two-Face?
Is Two-Face making a comeback and...
He's dead.
The series is over.
Yeah, the series is over. The Dark Knight series is over.
The Joker was kept alive.
Scarecrow was kept alive because he was a judge.
Yes, he was.
In the third Batman.
Yeah.
Supposedly, that would have been the Joker.
I mean, not only did he live through 28 days later and 48 weeks later,
he wasn't in that one.
He wasn't in that. You're right.
He was in the Sun movie too, where he went crazy.
Sunshine.
Yes,
he was really good.
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless. Little Miss Sunshine. Little Miss Sunshine.
Not the Steve Carell movie.
Now I know how you feel, Kevin. I'm sorry. Now I know how you feel.
This is why I'm so happy when you guys have your things. Oh, I want to talk about my interest. F your interest. You want to know what my interest is? Working 6 days a week. Working out 5 to 6 days a week, and then hanging out in the meantime.
Oh, Al.
That's all I do.
Oh, Al.
Other than that, I might get lucky and do something else other than that. But no, I ain't getting lucky. That's
before we're completely off the Bronson.
Check out Bronson starring Tom Hardy. Great movie.
Charles Bronson is the alter ego for the actual prisoner's name, Michael Peterson.
Michael Peterson. Yes.
Now, is that any relation to Scott?
I had a feeling you were going to go there.
No relation. Okay. He has a great handlebar mustache.
No.
I used to have a great mustache, but I shave it. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. You never seen it.
I never saw it. Was it just up top? Like, what was the style?
Yeah, it was just a mustache, and I had it curling on the side.
You had it curling?
It was curl there. Yeah, it was curling, dude.
I thought about it for like 2 seconds. Like, I did like a little bit. I was like teasing it a little bit. I was like, nah.
I'm thinking about going with the Hitler mustache.
Oh, that'd be great.
That'd be well.
I saw
just in time for Easter.
The three out of 4 people here that usually go also against Alex, the 3 of us that work in the same workplace.
You seen a Hitler mustache?
I saw a Hitler mustache at our workplace. Yes.
That guy does not care.
He doesn't, exactly.
I mean, it's so sad. Like, Hitler had this idea, I'm going to have the skinny mustache. Because who else had the skinny mustache? Nobody. Some Persians, maybe, but that's it. Charlie Chaplin?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's only because he mimicked Hitler. I think Walt Disney had a skinny mustache at one time.
Maybe. He had like a bigger one.
I thought he had like the skinny.
Oh, the thin, like a pencil.
Yeah, but I'm talking about in his earlier period before he was big. You know who else used to have mustaches? From what I heard, I think Eddie Murphy in like his comedy. No, not Eddie Murphy himself, guys. Let's not jump to conclusions here. Please let me finish.
What in the world?
Eddie Murphy.
Bill Cosby?
Kevin.
Oh, that's real.
How racist. Just to
real
yell out black people's names when I'm talking about a black person already. Wait a minute.
Not every one of them look the same, Kevin.
I really did. I was just throwing a celebrity's name out
Way
there.
to start a racial war in Cape Coral. Anyway.
Whoa. Sunny Southwest Florida.
Sunny Southwest Florida. Naples. Alright. Very much funny. Anyway. What I'm getting at is Eddie Murphy had a little comedy bit that he did where he mentioned that ladies in the 20s, I guess, had mustache is just a little pencil line mustache on their upper lip.
Okay.
That's just weird. Why would they do it? I don't know. Something about like that era back in the 30s and 20s and even 40s. It's just they had funny. They tried to do anything they possibly could to stand out with their facial hair.
What else did they have to do? There was no television.
There was no tattoos even. Yeah, they could have even got tattoos. They could have had funky hair.
They had a stick and they had a ball. And the Great Depression.
That's why they were in a depression. They didn't have any better sense to be poor, I guess. Bunch of dirtbags.
Pretty much at that time. So we heard from you. What else did you watch or experience this past week?
House Cards, Bosch.
Did they really even suffer?
Oh my goodness! Get out of here. Anything else, Kev? Or
I think of
you played some games. You played some D4.
D4.
The Mighty Ducks.
No, they only made D3 and.
That was an interesting game. It was kind of like playing an anime. It was an anime, basically. What's the
Suiri 56, I think.
Yeah, he made
made Daily Premonition.
That was an interesting. I haven't played a game like that before. I think the game is hoping that you'd play with Kinect. 'Cause a lot of it is Kinect based. But me liking stories sometimes over. I mean, my favorite series are games made by Telltale so far. I mean, some of my favorite. I won't say my favorite. Some of my favorite. Because it tells a story. And I'm not saying this game.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Game of Thrones. I played that. Awesome. The Game of Thrones game, Brendon. I know you are. They have it for the 360. You need to go on there and buy it. It's like $15, I think.
It's fun.
It is excellent. They have the first two episodes
games are
out.
a lot of fun.
They had the first 2 episodes out. Basically, you start off, but it starts off at the Red Wedding, and you play a different character from the Iron. I'm gonna kill myself. Ironclast, I think it might be called. I can't. Ironwood or I can't. I'm gonna kill myself.
Don't, Kevin. There's better
mosquito. Or fly. Anyways, basically you do get to select. It goes just like it follows the movie, except you're a character outside. Like you see all the characters you see in the movie, the TV show, the TV series. But you play as a whole other family. You do play 5 different people's perspective, and your decisions will kind of change the interactions you have with other characters in the game.
So does it change the storyline though,
Yes,
or does the storyline continue on from the book and the TV show?
Oh well, it's
the
kind of going.
The main story, but the story between the people changes.
This is more of a side story. It involves it's a family in the story, but they're not in the prominent storytelling that the show and the books are going for. It's more of a side, but there's still characters from the show.
Is there action in it, or is it
story
driven?
Oh yeah, it's a lot of story driven. It's not so much like okay, you control a person and you can move them around. All that. It's more what we call quick action sequences.
Yep.
A character's like running at you. You got to push like the A button, and you got to dodge or you got to swing. And it's just like you got to be quick about it. If you're not quick enough, they either kill you, which then you got to start over, or not all the way over, just that sequence. Or maybe they'll just push you into, like, say, a bookshelf. I think it happened in Wolf Among Us.
Yeah.
They'll push you into something which will injure your character, and that will, they'll have a scar for the rest of the game or something,
Oh, that's
and
cool.
so I mean, certain interactions will play heavily into the storyline.
And what you say matters. You have every interaction with the character.
Yeah.
Like you're saying something to me, I then have a choice to say 4 different things. And depending on what answer I give, you're going to remember that. And
It reminds me of Deus Ex.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Deus Ex.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely.
Even the old one was like
That's one of the first big games that.
Deus Ex, man. What the hell, Brendon?
Get out of here. That's one of the first big character-driven action. Like you had control of how the story went with your decisions. So Telltale definitely went that direction with The Walking Dead. Wolf Among Us, which Kevin brought up. They also made Tales of the Borderlands with this idea, the style. So they're hitting some home runs
very
with these
cool.
games.
Check it out.
Definitely. Kevin got this because on the Xbox One there was a huge sale on the Telltale Games collection for the 5 games. Yeah, 5 games. It was for like half off, so we both jumped.
It was like $130 retail. I got it for $50.
Oh wow!
And
you got like so many games with it.
Yeah, and there's so much fun. You're experiencing basically like a movie or a TV show.
You're playing a part of it, though.
Exactly, and it's kind of like the next level TV show because you're watching a story and then you have an interaction. Yeah. There's a lot of games and stories that are going that way.
It must be highly replayable too because you play it the first time, and the second time you play it, you can go a whole different route.
Exactly, yeah. You can see different sides of the game that you might have missed the first time, and different character interactions. But there's a lot of properties that are doing this whole TV and video game blending more. There's a game by the studio that did Alan Wake, Remedy. That's the studio name. They're making a game called Quantum Break, and half the game experience is a TV show. Mm-hmm. It's not you playing the game; it's you watching this show to experience some of the story. So it's gonna be kind of cool. This generation of this next generation of game consoles are kind of going more towards a TV show aspect to it.
Yeah. Kind of reminds me too of Dance Export. Remember Eternal Darkness on GameCube?
Wow, nice. Good pull.
You had the ability from the very beginning. You chose what I think it was a gem or a rune. Uh-huh. You chose a rune at the beginning, and throughout the game, you made decisions that ultimately affected you too. Like I played the game twice, and it was a different game the second time.
Yeah, and your character can die, and that's it. Move on. So,
just to make things sound a little clearer. You play as the Forester, as the House Forester. That's who you're controlling, who is allies of House Stark, and they supply ironwood, which is the strongest wood. That's their gold mine. That's what everyone wants House Forester for, is their wood.
Resources.
Yeah, they have a wood that they actually supplied House Stark with very good materials. Like they have some of the best blacksmiths, so they have so that all the weapons that House Stark is known for comes from House Forester. And that's the you play as them right outside of the Red Wedding, and that's how it starts. They're part of that alliance with House Stark at the Red Wedding, and as you know what happens at the Red Wedding. So it starts off pretty good.
Awesome. Yeah, from what I've seen of it, I got to watch Kevin play a little bit of the Game of Thrones games, and it looks really good. I played The Wolf Among Us recently, which was based off a comic book series called Fables, and it's based off of our childhood folklore of the Red Riding Hood and the Big Bad Wolf, characters like that, Sleeping Beauty, Disney's characters. So yeah,
but it's much more adult themed. Like it's not
so adult. Yeah, it's bad.
There's drugs, all that stuff. I mean, they have their own outtake on it.
It's great. So, check out Telltale's games. They're awesome.
So they've, like I said, and they're continuing it. Like season 1 of Game of Thrones, like after this is over, they're gonna have a season 2, and all your decisions that you did in the whole season 1 will influence into the next game.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so
that's intricate.
Yes,
that's what Telltale Games does that with all their games. That's why it's just so cool to play them.
It's a very cool direction to go for the video games. Yeah. All right. Oh, sorry.
No. So we can, this thing we can continue.
I wanted to see what Al's up to. Al, what you've been up to lately?
Trend setting.
I told you guys. All right, trend setting. Is that a hint for something, Kevin? That I might have talked to you in the past, and am I trend setting something? I ain't trend setting nothing. Like, I really have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't know. You just you think that we were trendsetters. You said with the we were talking about different, like how our eyes perceive or our perceptions of things are different.
Yeah, that was you guys. I really didn't even partake in that conversation. And two, I seen an article by Popular Mechanics today talking about what Brendon was talking about in last week's podcast.
All right.
That was brought up first about the whole how we can actually see a particle and a wave at the same time. Mm-hmm. Like, where have I heard that before? Oh, this podcast. Mm-hmm. So
you got the fractal minds bump.
Yeah.
Quantum physics. Mm-hmm. Color perception.
There you go.
Llamas. We didn't talk about llamas though, did we?
I want to know about the llamas. I don't get.
Yeah, there's both. They made a big deal about it because it was just funny. It was a white llama and a black llama just running away from the police down the road.
They stuck together the entire time. They were juking, like they were just...
and crime.
Yep.
They were running down, I think, Martin Luther King Street or something. No, it wasn't local, man. This was in Arizona. And
the Cardinals, like, there was teams over there that were wanting to sign the llamas to do the contracts, to be their mascots.
Yeah, they were making football joke references about it and making racial references about it. And, like, MLK didn't die for this. Because the black llama was caught by the police first. You know, there was just it was just a goofy take on something absurd that happened, and then
Herm Edwards on ESPN, he did a breakdown of the llama's moves.
That guy used to be the coach of the Jets, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and the Chiefs. He coached the Chiefs. Don't tell me he didn't. He did.
He did. I'm just thinking. I didn't say he did.
Kevin was nodding his head in agreement, but giving me that look like. You know you done something, boy. You know you done something. You should never left that gate unlocked with those llamas.
You make me sound like never mind.
My black grandfather that always beat me to teach me respect and manners. Is that what I sound like?
Hashtag real talk.
Alex is going borderline racial topics here.
Alex, I leave for 5 seconds. And
That's
this is
why
what
I did it. That they're like, "What have you been enjoying, Alex?" I'm like, borderline racial topics.
We're gonna have a real talk here.
Oh, jeez, it's net neutrality. That's
Alright,
fine.
before we get to net neutrality, unless there's something else you want to talk about, because I think the head transplant thing's gonna be very quick, and that's gonna last for like 10 minutes, and it also ties in with my grind. That's why I want to talk about it.
You got a grind?
Yeah, there's a grind.
Oh, that's so sad.
Mm-hmm.
I'll start it here. You know, I don't like a little head transplant thing.
You know, net neutrality is going to go on for like an hour.
No, let's cut that short because I want to talk about the assassination of Boris and them stuff. And my grind's actually going to go on forever because it's all about House of Cards.
Okay.
I'm really pissed.
Don't give anything away.
I'm not. I promise I will keep it tame with any type of little hints.
I hope so, Al.
I promise.
I hope so.
You have my
So
word.
we're doing net neutrality, head transplant. Where are we going to start?
Let's do some head transplant.
That's going to go on quick.
You're so against head transplant.
Why am I against it?
You said this demeanor that makes it sound like you're not into it.
I am ready to talk.
All right, let's
Oh
hear
my
it.
God.
Start up, my friend.
No, Kevin.
Oh, Kevin, let's bring it up.
Kevin, this is.
Let's get your grind over with like I did last week already.
No,
I'm
not
talking about
doing
this.
that.
We're going to actually make this interesting, maybe. And then when you hear what I got to say for the grind, you're just going to like want to facepalm, basically.
Ooh. Whole palm of my face, okay.
Basically, surgeons say the first human head transplant, or body transplant, however you want to view it, could happen in the next 2 years. I'll go into real quickly how it can be done. It's like a paragraph long, not big. Like, this is how they would end up doing it.
Okay.
After the head and the body are cooled to the point that they can survive without oxygen, the tissue around the neck is dissected and all the major blood vessels are linked. The spinal cords of the head and body are cut and the ends are fused together by flushing the area with a chemical called polyethylene glycol. The initial flushing is followed up by regular injections of the same fluid over a period of several hours, and then that fluid encourages the fat around the cell membranes to mesh.
Yummy.
The muscles and blood supply of the head and body are sutured, and the patient kept in an induced coma for 3 to 4 weeks to prevent movement and allow time for healing. Implanted electrodes will provide electrical stimulation to the spinal cord during this lifetime to strengthen the new nerve connections.
Wow.
So it's gonna. It sounds like. And I read somewhere else that basically all the flaws that they've had in the past, everything that they've had to. Actually, I think it was reading.
Okay, so I haven't looked into this. Has this been done? Is this successful?
This is something that they've worked on. It's one of those things that, of course, there was very. I don't want to say illegal.
Well, it's very controversial because you're asking a lot. Like, people say a lot of playing God. Like, you are cutting someone's head off and putting it on another person.
And you could always do it for your whole life. It's just, I mean, you could constantly get a new body.
Oh, sure.
I had a dream about this once. I'm not going to lie. When I was a kid.
Yeah?
I wasn't say I was a child kid. But I was
Was
more
it
of a
last week?
teenager
You were a man child.
Oh, very, very funny, guys. No, but seriously, one time I had this dream where, I don't know, I was sick and then I had, like, some NyQuil, and it affected me in a weird way because I must have had some coffee or something and NyQuil. So I was just up. It was kind of like purple stuff, but it was like brown purple stuff because it was a mixture.
This might explain everything.
So anyway, I had this funky dream. I think I was 16 or 17.
You had a funky dream?
Oh, dude, this was like a trip almost. It was weird. It was like caffeine induced.
Shit.
Yeah, it was. It's
like weird. A Pixar movie. Like.
Anyway, guys. So, like, I had this dream where I envisioned, in order for us to keep going to outer space and to live longer and all this and that, we would have to separate from our bodies, but we would still have to be able to think.
Okay.
So I had a dream where we would eventually be nothing but a cluster of brains.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, like Futurama.
Kinda, yeah. Yeah.
They had those brains. Like,
I know, yeah, that's not what it's based off. I had my own original thoughts here.
Or Metroid.
It was,
sure. Oh, Metroid, oh.
It was probably a mixture of both.
Okay.
It was a mixture of both. But it's not like you just imagine all these brains kind of rapturing into one another.
Is that how you see humans as just brains?
No.
Okay.
I see humans as they come across.
Okay. Yeah. Just wondering.
Yeah, I'm very open with myself and open to interpretations about others.
You are a hippie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I fool a lot of people. They're always trying to figure me out. It's hilarious.
You a troll? Like, are you like saying you're a troll then? If you like to fool people?
No, I don't like to. No, actually, no. I'm not. I don't like to fool people.
You're not purposely doing it.
No, I like to see them try to figure me out because they never don't.
Oh.
And some people have
deep.
Yeah, exactly. Oh. Some people have these weird desires, which are a little bit weirder than unconventional. They're like, I'm trying to figure you out, but I can't. I'm like, why even bother? Why even bother figuring me out?
So,
I have you figured out because you're a little simple person. All right.
How many parts?
I got depth. I got more depth than an ogre and an onion put together.
Whoa.
That's
layers?
What's up.
Layers?
Yeah.
Whoa. Damn.
Really? But anyway, yeah, I had this weird dream about a collective group of brains one time, which is weird for me because I don't believe in the collective anyway.
So the head transplants. We had the owl minute there.
That was like a minute and a half. That was pretty good.
Now we're going back to
patting myself on the back for that one.
Thanks, Al, for that.
Basically, back in like the 60s and 70s, you had these scientists.
What the fuck?
You had these scientists that were doing experiments on animals before animal activists probably got involved. And
don't put makeup on animals. It's not right.
Well, no, the guy was transplanting a head on another dog. They had two-headed dogs that would live like 2 days.
Oh, that's so cool.
So they've been doing all these experiments, and I'm not sure how far they got into it before animal activists got involved, but basically now they're somehow to a point where, I guess mice are okay to do things too.
Yeah, mice don't matter. We feed them the snakes like no big deal.
Yeah, so we grow ears on mice.
Yes, we do. Yeah. Yes, that was so fucking cool. That's amazing, isn't it?
It is.
Did you see that picture of the ear on the mice? Amazing.
I heard animal rights activists have sexual relations with animals. That's why they're so close. Cut.
Jesus Christ.
That's just what I heard, guys.
Rumor. Who's your source?
Rumor on the street.
The anti-animal rights activists.
Anti-animal rights activists.
I'll say that.
Like me.
PETA is bad. I don't support PETA.
No, nobody should.
They do have, very, very...
Don't you dare support PETA. Did you not...
How about the hot women who pose for them naked on their pages?
Those hot women are being paid. This is this is smut no different than any other smut.
So if you hate EA, if EA hired a hot supermodel to pose naked,
which they have many times,
in support of PETA.
Michael Jordan, anybody?
Their magazine, which has a hot naked woman on it. That's all I'm supporting. I'm not supporting PETA's organization.
It seemed like it.
No, it didn't at all. There was nothing.
All right, guys, we need to move along, guys.
Listen here, Al.
Let me seriously.
Al, I had enough of your shit. Okay.
Net neutrality.
Wait, what I want to know about this whole head transplant thing.
Yes.
If you're a 90-year-old woman, you could theoretically get your head transplanted onto the body of a 21-year-old girl.
But then,
now, is that what we're going to see, or is just really young bodies with old heads?
Exactly. People in their 40s. No, it's got to be people in their 40s because you don't want
if your
to have people in your
head.
If you have money, you can get what you want.
Yes, you can do that, but is your 9-year-old head going to last 100 years?
But it doesn't matter. If you have the money to have it, why not? Say your body's riddled with tumors and cancer.
Your body, but isn't your head like...
No, say you have tumors in your breast, or you have tumors in your testicles. You have tumors wherever, and they've spread throughout your body, except for your head. It may make sense.
I don't see the separation though, where the head separates from the body in that correlation. Where
because there are no tumors in the head in this instance. So if the body's been riddled, if the body's been riddled with disease, and somebody has enough money to say, you know what, I just want a new body, my body's giving out on me. What's going to stop you from getting the body of somebody much, much younger?
Your brain is 100 years old. It's not going to suddenly be...
I'm not saying that they're going to be able to live that long. They're not going to.
So what's the point?
But the point I'm making is...
You don't want to see ugly people in their 80s getting head transplants.
No.
Oh, it's kind of like Prometheus. You guys remember Prometheus where the guy he's
Michael Fassbender when the android head gets cut off? That was pretty cool. That looks pretty good.
Mm-hmm. No, not that. I'm talking about Michael Fassbender's character protecting this old dude that was actually on the spaceship with them to get to the Prometheus planet.
That's great.
You know what I'm talking about? The old guy that just showed up, her dad?
What?
Yes.
Jeez. Okay.
It's like you guys... we watched the movie, we just don't remember it.
Oh, whatever. You didn't...
I'm just talking about... I'm talking about there's people that will do anything to keep what they possibly can.
My big thing is... Okay, old people... I don't see this as being used for old people because their heads are not going to suddenly be young again. I can see it being, okay, Kevin, do not let this happen, but you get into a car accident and your lower half is cut off.
Mm-hmm. Or paralyzed.
Or paralyzed, if you will. Then I can see, yes. And if this is what they're proposing, your head is then removed and then put onto another body, which is okay. So I can see it being for young heads, not for the older generation.
So, I mean, I haven't read anywhere that it's going to be for, longer living, force to live generation to generation. They're looking to have more uses, like what you're saying, for people who have disabilities or some emergency.
Cool.
I wondered. I haven't seen anything mentioned about it, but like the celebrities that were cryogenically frozen kind of thing.
Yeah.
Never heard anything about them. Which I don't know if they I want to be brought back in year 2200. Like I don't want maybe they have a year where they don't want to be brought back until a certain time. But
that's an interesting topic. You want to talk about that? That sounds very fun.
It sounds kind of sounds related.
What year would you want to be woken up in?
3000.
That's a good one.
Really?
Yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be
wow.
Awesome. Fuck yeah.
I'm thinking there's going to be space wars still going on in the year 3000.
If we're still here.
Yes.
If you have a choice, then they'll be like, well, if we're still here. Okay, yeah. You're going to be in the year 3000. Of course we're going to be in space.
Okay, all right. What year do you want to wake up in?
4000, because I think we'll be past war at that point.
All right,
but then we'll have the other species probably. Or do you not believe in aliens?
No, I don't believe in aliens, dinosaurs.
Well, it doesn't be like aliens per se.
How do you not believe in dinosaurs?
I don't believe in alien dinosaurs.
How about humanoids from? How about humanoids from a different galaxy?
We would have seen them with the NSA.
I was talking about another galaxy.
Satellites in outer space.
There's actually a very interesting.
How many galaxies are there roughly?
Infinite.
It could be like any one of those other galaxies.
It's infinite.
Humanoid people.
Dude, we've scrammed through so many galaxies with all these different telescopes.
They go in that galaxy and they were like, all right, we'll see that in about 100 years, and it'll bring back.
There's a delay with light. Yeah. It only travels so fast, and
didn't they send you through a black hole?
We've done.
No, you're talking about Interstellar, and we talked about that last week too, guys. Just like the head transplants.
We're getting into it.
All right, so we have a 3,000 vote. We have a 4,000 vote. What year theoretically,
the people who are cryogenically frozen.
Yeah.
Like when they want.
When you could be woken up.
What year would you like to
go back
see?
in time?
No time. Just forward. Forward thinking.
I would like to go 500 years in the future.
500 years,
Yeah,
so
2,500.
Oh, jeez, there's going to be so much war going on 500 years from now.
So, why 500 years?
Because I think we can't tell the difference between 2,500 and 3,000 years.
That's
and it'd be closer to my family and understanding what happened to my kids, my grandkids, my great-grandkids.
A closer relation
3,000 years in the
to
future,
our generation.
it'd be so branched out. In 500 years, I'd be able to look at it a little bit closer and see the direct ramifications of my kids' upbringing. And
I guess I see that, but also it's kind of cool to go even further with how Kevin's going to 1,000 years and Alex going 2,000 years.
Here's what I think about that. I think that we're going to hit singularity pretty
soon,
and technology is going to advance rapidly to the point where there is no such thing as future. We're going to have machines that are so intelligent, they're going to create things so fast that the difference between 500 years and 1,000 years.
So you're betting at a closer, more science future than.
Yep, I think it'll happen a lot faster.
Okay, interesting.
I think by the year 3000, little children that are being born by 1 year of age, they'll know how to speak eloquently better than we're all speaking right now.
I can believe that.
And they'll know how to function. They'll have their own little robots. They're like, all right, I want to explore this planet because I just know what's up. Instead of what you guys were talking about earlier with the head transplants and all that, trying to live longer through that.
Oh, that won't even. Yeah.
They're gonna actually just broaden time from an earlier age with new methods of technology and new ways to teach people.
We're all going to have our own R2D2 or C3PO.
We're going to be even more advanced than that. I think we're going
to figure out new ways to channel learning in parts of the brain we don't use at a very early age. So once we keep developing,
we're going to be more cyborg than anything.
No.
Yeah. That by 3,000?
No. Oh, yeah.
How close? We're so close with the watches, with the glasses.
DARPA, the Defense Department's main research division, started throwing money into putting computer components into the brain so that you interact not through a watch or through glasses, but it's actually built into the circuitry of your head where you just see it.
Wow.
So, and that's something they're doing now. Wow. They're working on. So
that's it.
Give it 50 years, 100 years.
Oh, exactly. If we're doing it already right now, that's 50 years.
Yep. I think they'd treat it like, say you got a billionaire who goes and cryogenically freezes himself and he gets brought back to life. Like Organo's head does. And,
we're never going to make
Walt Disney's head.
Yeah, he gets back into the body, and the year he chooses is like, oh, fuck this shit, this ain't cool. Put me back in this.
Yeah.
We're going to have these billionaires who are just like so greedy. All right, lop his head back off, throw him back in the cryogenically.
Exactly what's going to happen.
Another 500 years.
How can a normal man afford a new body? And someone that makes normal wages ever afford to have a body? First off, unless you're growing it.
I'm trying to do it right now. Go to the gym.
But in a real way, though, like how in the world are there going to be enough bodies to go around?
Well,
healthy bodies that people can use.
Finding a date?
It's going to be a case like a heart transplant, or
imagine how hard it is to get a heart transplant.
Exactly, it's not going to be an everyday. Yeah,
I've heard they've been 3D printing hearts now. What's up?
Getting there. 3D printing is what's really going to bring us closer to singularity than anything. I think 3D printing is so incredible. What they can do, they can make little heart tubes and just do that.
They're already using it on the space station, I think. They need components on the space station. They 3D print it there.
That's amazing.
Yep.
All right, so let's, instead of speaking about all the amazing things technology can do, let's talk about the amazing ways technology can be regulated by the new 300-something pages we still do not know about since February 26th.
Let's get Alex's take on this first, and then we'll approach it from there.
I gotta use the bathroom. So you guys you guys put your own collective groupthink, 3 people take on it first.
For a while.
All right. And then I'll put my take on it. Because that's what's going to start the argument with you guys anyway. So whatever. Bring it on, Jack Turkeys.
I feel like we need to put Alex on the spot and hear his side of the story.
That's it.
I really feel like that. So
from beginning to end, let's let him talk about what he thinks it is,
okay,
what it is to him, and why he thinks it's a bad thing, and then we go from there.
I will say, before he says anything, he was giving me his opinion of how he feels about this topic, and I was reading about the topic, and there was a certain part of the article where it talked about his viewpoints, and this group of people feels this way. And as I was reading that, he was saying the words that this group of people feel. So it was kind of interesting to hear him say how he felt and read into, oh, okay, so he showed this. So
yeah.
Let's hear what he has to say. And Kev,
my opinion won't be that big. I won't be. I mean, I'm sure you both will talk broader than me. But
I haven't looked too much into it. This has been a crazy week. That's why I haven't really said too much about what's going on. So I haven't been able to look too much into it. But I have my opinions of it. I feel strong that I think this is a good thing. All right, Al.
Okay, so we're going to take my take on it?
Yep, let's go for it.
Now, what is net neutrality?
What is net neutrality?
What is net neutrality?
Yeah. What is it?
Net neutrality is this whole idea that internet should be treated equally as far as how you get it. Basically.
Not how you get it, but what goes in it.
As far as net neutrality is all data should be treated equally. That's the whole point of it. That's what people would like to say. That's the concept of it.
Yeah.
Just like the concept of this show was originally. Me and Brendon were going to have a political podcast.
No,
but we changed it around.
Not this show.
But that was the concept of it.
Al, not this show.
And it just goes to show that, the private sector can do concepts with cars or electronics, but even the private sector never puts out a final product. That's a concept. But for some strange-ass reason, everybody in America, not just waking up a brand new person in life, thinks that, okay, we have this government-imposed concept that the people sure would like, just like they would like unicorns and rainbows every day when they walk outside in the morning and to smell jasmine and gardenias, because who the hell wouldn't?
You don't understand American people at all.
Regardless, well, that's basically that's an exaggeration for Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, net neutrality, all these other things people would just like that still generations down the road have not been to their concept. Anyway,
what is that?
I already described the concept of it. What people want.
Why are you against it? Other than the fact that you're perceiving it as government intrusion.
Why I'm against it is I really never seen a problem in the first place.
Because we're just now seeing it become a problem. It hasn't been a problem because
we're expecting a fear. All right, we're expecting a fear, and we're describing a fear, and then from this fear we have. 5 people agreeing to regulations we have not even seen in public.
It's not a fear. First, all right,
it is a fear.
All right, so it's not a fear we actually have.
It's a fear of mine.
We've seen Netflix.
Okay, it's not a fear of yours.
We've seen net neutrality, the opposite of it, being used by companies like Comcast to throttle services like Netflix.
And they can. You know why? Because they have their own business to do. They have their own business to make.
Okay, so when they do that, who gets hurt?
Who gets hurt? So
the consumer. You know what the consumer should do? Call Comcast up.
Oh, that's Comcast is.
So what? They call up the government and said, "Hey, we're helpless here. We're so helpless here."
The basic rules,
like with
that
anything,
the internet has abided by is the idea that all data is created equally, and it shouldn't be regulated in any way. You can own the pipes, but you cannot control what goes through them. You can't. Just like a telephone. Mm-hmm. You can own the wires, but you can't control what I'm saying or how much I say over it. So, net neutrality is protecting freedom of speech, innovation, all the things that you say are going to be hurt by government intrusion But you give no example of how it's going to hurt other than the fact that it could hurt.
I can't because there's 300-something pages of regulation that I haven't seen, nobody else has seen, that everybody talks about, well, it's going to be protected in the freedom of speech manner. You know how many pages it takes to protect freedom of speech? It only takes one amendment.
One amendment. This is what the details of the new rules. This is what...
I need a PDF file of the new rules. I don't need the details from a source.
We'll have that.
That does not have a PDF of the files.
So it's like a .gov.
But this is this is what they're trying to prohibit. Blocking access to legal content, applications, and services. Slowing down internet traffic for legal content, applications, and services. And paid prioritization that would create internet fast lanes.
Exactly.
Okay, and that's the same thing we have now, without more lawsuits.
No, that's not what
There's going to be more lawsuits happening.
You're saying that, but that's not true, though. That's not what we have. That's what we had, but that's not what we were going to have unless they passed rules. Companies like Comcast could have throttled Netflix because they were competitors to NBC, and then they could promote their own subsidiaries because they own the pipes, by discouraging
other
businesses.
And why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they?
Because the rules just expired recently. So now it's been a free-for-all, and now they're trying to put rules in place to direct the trajectory of the internet over the next however many years. So what they've decided to do is go with these net neutrality rules, saying that you cannot do that, you cannot create fast lanes, that everything's equal. Let's look at innovation over the past 5-10 years. Skype. You have Google making...
Oh my goodness,
Skype. You have Netflix, which I keep talking about.
Microsoft on Skype.
But you can make calls on Skype. Yes. Talk about Google Call. These sort of things. These are things that are high traffic, high bandwidth, data intensive things, right? So if Comcast has a phone service,
says,
hey, you know what? Microsoft, Google, this Skype stuff, and this Google phone call stuff. This isn't good for us. So we're going to charge you more because it's eating into our bottom line.
Yep. And we get her, we say, okay, now we only get a 3-minute call. Yeah. Instead of being able to call my lady friend over in Texas, and probably shouldn't have said that. Cut. Being able to have a 3-hour conversation, oh no, I can only get 30 minutes, now I have to pay $5.
Exactly. You have to pay more, but also the companies that have already established themselves online now have the money, because they're established, to promote themselves and pay for those fast lanes, and new startups that could offer a better product are unable to compete because they can't get into it because they don't have the money to break in.
Exactly.
This is about protecting innovation on the internet. This isn't about discouraging it. No. It just makes sense.
It just makes sense to create these new rules.
They're not new rules. This is what the government...
This is new rules because this is new legislature.
We don't know that, though.
These are the rules that the internet has been governed by.
FCC.
But the rules that were produced just expired. That's why they're talking about it now. The rules that were produced have recently been nullified, and it's been a free-for-all in terms of what people can do. So the FCC...
So that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing.
No, it isn't.
It is a beautiful thing.
Exactly what we just talked about. Comcast would be able to charge for fast lanes.
People are backwards in your way of thinking. I'm just going to say.
That's not backwards. Give me an argument of how that is good for startups to have to go into...
Because you're hoping this regulatory body of the government, the FCC...
You're not answering my question.
I am answering your question.
How does it
because
help
this same regulatory body that had the rules in the first place that you're talking about also had other things they wanted to propose that was into Comcast's benefits favors. Comcast and all these other telecoms companies benefit. Okay, and then all of a sudden there's this crazy... People say, well, it's my will. There's a lot of people clamoring about it. When really it was the president himself slipped in some rules and guidelines for what's known as net neutrality.
No, that's not true. People have been talking about net neutrality for a long time. And in fact, it's a website that me and James both visit, Reddit, frequently.
Definitely.
They've been fighting for net neutrality for a long time now, way before the president even said anything. Net neutrality is not something that was brought upon by the government.
I saw recently,
as some idea that just came about. It is an old idea.
At least 2010. That was when Barack Obama was president, of course, but at least 2010 is when this talk is...
Yeah, but there's other concepts to net neutrality, too, than just the basis of
Comcast, Time Warner, Cox, all of these people are not hurting for money. They make record profits.
Oh, my goodness.
They make so much money And this isn't inhibiting
but
their ability to do more.
Politicians are hurting for money that need campaign money.
How? But
you're a free market kind of guy. Rules.
The internet is a stage where
in the FCC guidelines that are going to benefit certain people, and they're ultimately going to benefit big corporations.
You're going, but no.
I am going by past example. I truly am. That's what I go by because everybody else is just completely oblivious to past example, and they trust these 5 people that voted on not on a concept. But on 320-something pages of regulation.
I'm trusting way more than 5 people. I'm trusting...
The people that created this concept and have these goals aren't the ones that are going to administer it. They're not the ones that read the rules that they voted on. So why the hell are you people just hear like this token phrase being heralded and you're just like, I support it.
But here's the
shower the blessings upon me.
First off. No, I agree with what you're saying. We haven't seen.
But you agree with it.
I agree with that
That's
neutrality.
stupid.
I agree with freedom.
I agree with freedom.
Stupid. Well, you're not. Let us finish. Let us finish our point.
Drink to that.
All right, let me finish my point. I'm for net neutrality detached from what the FCC has done. No, stop! I'm not. Stop, Al. Just let me finish.
Then why does it matter? Why does it matter?
Why does anything matter?
Because if what the FCC did resembles what net neutrality stands for, which we have yet to see. They told us the details of what it says, but we haven't seen what they've introduced and what's going to govern the internet in a way that is substantial. So we don't know. To say we support what they did, we don't know yet. Yeah. But if it resembles what they say it is, what they're telling everybody, and if it resembles what net neutrality has been known as and what it should be, then I support it.
Yep.
But we don't know what it is yet. We don't. But net neutrality itself, the idea of net neutrality, what it's supposed to do, is a good thing.
I agree.
The idea of good nutrition and keeping yourself healthy is a good thing. You know what I mean? It just keeps you moving and shaking and all that stuff.
But you know what's funny?
I agree.
Is that a lot of people refer to net neutrality, right? A lot. And then there was this little memo that was released that the big telecom companies were about to go, like, real hard in lobbying against this because it would hurt their bottom line. And it was released by, I think, Politico, or I can't remember who it was, but there was an organization that released a memo saying that, be ready, like, congressmen, people are going to be lobbied hard against net neutrality to, get the word out that it's a bad thing. And all of a sudden, after the telecom companies threw this money at it and had their talking heads go on TV and their lobbyists hit Congress, you hear it all over the place.
Yeah.
Like it's this horrible thing. And what it is you have a group of people out there that are paid to confuse people about the situation at hand. Yeah. And you may be right, Alex, that this, is it a bill? I don't even know what it is that the FCC did, this declaration. Could end up have some things in it that are not very good.
Sure.
And we don't know that
backfire in our faces.
But net neutrality, the concept, the idea, if it holds true to that, it's just unquestionably a good thing. Like that's how the internet should be. It should be a place of freedom, of speech and communication, and open for people to do what they want to do.
Greatest information tool that we ever had.
Exactly, and that's what net neutrality protects. Now, giving corporations, especially big service providers, the ability to control the data is not a good thing. It's not a good thing. I mean, look at TV. They control what's on TV. There's a few channels that look at Fox News, MSNBC, whatever it is. They get to put the content out there. They get to provide it. They control what's seen, what we do, or what we get to do on TV. And it's just a bunch of advertisements and bullshit. Trivial ideas that we just watch and we look at, and they're little sound blurps and they appeal to our emotions, and then we say, oh yeah, we're for or we're against that. That's what money does to things. And that's what we would have allowed. Control. That's what we would have allowed these service providers to do to us, is make it about money and what's convenient and what's profitable. And that's not what the internet should be about. It should be about freedom of speech and people to do what they want to do.
All this talk of backhand paying and money and exchanging brings us to House of Cards. Lobbyists and all the politicians and everything. So,
are we going to talk about... We already talked about House of Cards.
No, we did not.
We did.
Season 3 is back. We've brought it up. We didn't talk about.
We did talk about House of Cards.
Is that your grind today, House of Cards?
Yeah, that's good. That's my grind.
I'll tell you what. You guys are on the 6th episode.
We are on episode. Kevin and I are
going to be doing the 5th. Yeah, we just finished episode 4.
Mm-hmm. House of Cards stars
Claire and Russia.
What? Kevin Spacey as Frank Underwood.
Yeah, well, you're going to get pissed off
in House of Cards, he's a politician, Frank Underwood, and in season 3, he is the president of the United States.
Yep.
For everyone who's only watched or even heard about it, he just starts as a politician, but then turns into the freaking president of the United States. Mm-hmm. And things are starting to rocky out for him. Usually he gets his way, but
not no one's supporting him. He doesn't seem to have an answer for anything. Every answer he does have is backfiring.
Yeah.
It's right now. It's not looking good for Frank.
Even his wife. His wife is now the first lady, of course, but she usually has an answer for everything, and she's not getting her way either. So it's very cool to see that even though the top dog is he won his big prize, he's not getting his way still. So.
He's it's turned into an interesting series, and the little twist we just had where the lady just put in her declaration that she's going to be she's going to be running for president in 2016
against him, basically.
Yep. After he was trying to get her position as the
Supreme
Court, not Justice.
Yeah. So yeah, very good show. It's on Netflix exclusive.
Alex binge watched the entire thing. Brendon's 2 episodes ahead of me and James.
And I wasn't throttled, surprisingly. I thought I really was going to get throttled, but no, I wasn't. No.
So yeah, you had a little flat at the end?
Well, that's his grind, though. Do you want to get into his grind?
No, see, you guys talk about all the...
Okay, that's fine.
House of Cards you want.
As of right now, it started strong. That first episode was very strong. It focused on a side character.
First episode had strength.
For probably like a good 20 minutes, the first episode, and that was a very interesting direction. I don't remember the show ever doing that. It felt like a little mini movie inside the episode. So, so far I'm very strong on it. I've been a big fan of it. I watched the first 2 seasons last year when I had a very crippling sickness. So it was it was a good show to watch when all you had to do was sit in bed and watch TV. No. But Brendon, what do you think of season 3 so far?
I'm enjoying it so far. I don't know if I like seeing Frank Underwood humanized as much as he has been. Yeah. Anybody who's familiar with the first 2 seasons, he's a despicable human being.
Yes.
And they're trying to soften him up a little bit, it seems, at the beginning of this.
So he got into the fetal position one time.
That's just not, I mean,
I know.
I don't feel bad for him. As much as they try to make
they're weakening him, yeah.
I don't feel bad for him.
Why?
He should be crushed.
He should be crushed?
Oh, jeez. Brendon. What about all the relentless pragmatism Frank Underwood's about?
He's more about his legacy.
Yeah,
he's very
more about
him
his
and
legacy.
Claire is more about their legacy.
Exactly.
Just put that up there.
Oh yeah,
yeah. They both are more about themselves in the country. The things
for sure.
It's all about them,
and that's what I kind of like.
You guys are missing this kind of dialectic.
We know. I know.
I'm about to go on a rant on, but
that's regardless. I liked when the show kind of revealed that Claire is with him in this very selfish, let's make history, like let's have a name for ourselves.
Their relationship is political.
Yes,
that's it. Their relationship is nothing more than the political. They don't have a husband-wife relationship.
No, not at all. It's pure for the game. That's all that they're about. There's no. I mean, that there could be a.
I'd base their relationship on they've been trying to move to a certain goal in life, and that's power.
Yes,
and then they finally have power, and they just don't know. I think as this season will explain, they don't know where to go after they got to the point where they wanted.
They're in bad trouble. They are not getting their way.
Was an excellent metaphor.
So I didn't say it. Don't look at me like I said it. You're the one that said it.
What was it?
So the mandala, to your point, Brendon, was...
just don't... I mean, do you guys know what a mandala is?
I don't understand.
I've heard of it.
Going into what Alex is saying, I'm not gonna. I've only seen a little bit more than you guys have. I don't know where something go beyond this, but there's a group of Tibetan monks that visit the White House, and they create a mandala, which is a piece of art created with sand, colored sand, and they create this beautiful picture or tapestry. Well, it's a beautiful image created with different colored sand. And there's monks that just constantly work on it. It takes weeks to work on, and then when they're done, they destroy it. That's the idea behind it. It's the idea of impermanence. You create something, you don't attach yourself to it, you let it go away. Sure. And it's a metaphor for life. You're constantly working to making something permanent, but ultimately it all goes away.
There and then it's gone.
It's gone. So a central concept of Buddhism, the idea that attaching yourself to things that aren't permanent are the root cause of suffering. Now,
does this happen in the show?
Oh, that just hurts.
Yeah, that's the next
attaching your things.
That's just a little. That's not a big storyline. But getting into what Al is saying, they don't know where to go now that they've created this thing and they've gotten to where they want to be. So kind of like the mandala, you create this thing and you're so busy creating it and working on it, and then it's done.
And then it's a house of cards. Boom, it falls over.
And what do you do with it?
I've noticed that reference being used a lot more.
You notice all of this build up to where what I mentioned, this pair wants to get to. This pair is getting more attention as far as their politics concerned and all of that. And then all of a sudden, you start seeing not just them, but other cards around them just start toppling over.
Okay.
And you'll see more of what I'm talking about in the oncoming episodes. But are we finished talking about what you guys want to talk about, House of Cards?
Kevin, how do you feel about House of Cards?
My grind.
My
main grind.
We watched 4 episodes so far.
That's kind of like an off-reference.
That ending to that 4th episode was pretty good when he was in the church.
Oh, yeah.
And he spit on the...
Oh,
my goodness.
I got God's ear now.
You mentioned that to me at work, right, Brendon?
What?
End of the 4th season, he's in a church.
4th episode.
And, what?
4th episode.
Did I say that?
Season.
Sorry. 4th episode.
Oh, the statue topples?
Yes. Was that what you were mentioning to me at work? I thought you were like... Oh. I thought you mentioned that. But anyway, that was a very cool... he is questioning God. That's how, much of an ego he has.
He likes the New Testament better than... Or the Old Testament better than... He likes the God... He likes the fear... the fear that the God portrays in the Old Testament.
Well, yeah, Old Testament is very... fear and vengeful, where God kills a lot of people, and New Testament is more of the hippie Jesus side. So that's why he doesn't like the New Testament. But he spits at a Jesus statue and makes it break. Yeah, it's great. How'd you feel about it?
So far, I know where Brennan's coming from. Seeing him humanized, I'm used to seeing the Frank Underwood that knows how to deal with every situation. He can, in the old, the first 2 seasons, it was, I'm going to do this because the person I'm talking to is going to do this. I know he's going to react ahead of time, so I know how to get my way, so I'm going to say this. And now it's more like, he doesn't matter what he says, people won't even hear him out. They've already lost faith in him. I mean, they're just like, we don't want you running. We're over a year away. We don't want you running. What?
Right away.
Yeah, I mean... We're a year and a half, it was, and his whole party's against him.
The Democratic Party.
Yeah, so it's just and then to see him have no answers or whatever, it's just he's not a guy that, like you said, seeing him humanized, you don't feel sorry for him. Yeah. But at the same time, we already like him as this mean person.
Yeah, I either want to see him crush people or be crushed.
Yes,
I don't want to see him sad and pathetic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, I that's where. I think season 3 is going for. It's going for the Rocky story. It's going for the comeback.
Oh, yeah.
And that's actually a thing. That's our comeback tour. That's a recent trend for Fractal Minds is the comeback victory. So that's what I'm predicting for the end of season 3. He's somehow going to turn around as the Frank Underwood way is.
I think something's going to happen with Claire.
You think
Claire, I'm not nothing really big has happened in the next 2 episodes. But I just feel like Claire is detaching herself and trying to do her own sort of deal.
I can see that.
Yeah. She wants to run for president herself.
Yeah.
I can see Claire doing that because she definitely wants that power, and I feel like she wants that with Frank, but I think Frank has her in a way where she can detach herself from Frank if
need be.
If need be.
If it helps her.
Yes, exactly.
If it's to her benefit, she'll do it.
And if he went a little bit further in hurting her more. So, Overall, positive House of Cards. Look forward to watching it.
Super positive.
Very good.
Real quick, while we're talking about TV shows, and it's only brought it up because you said it was an interesting take on the first episode, how they were rolling with the first episode. Alex and I yesterday watched Better Call Saul. I'm not giving anything away.
I was playing Dodo.
It was the episode called Hero, and we're both sitting there the first 10 minutes thinking the same thing. This is a very interesting take on an episode. Because the first 10, for whatever reason, Amazon...
You know what? We were being throttled.
we were.
How's it feel, Al? Don't like it, Al.
Oh,
right?
God. You know what? Instead of complaining to anybody that relates to who I'm doing business with, you know what? I wouldn't complain to the government. They need to do something.
There you go.
Yep.
Basically, we're watching Better Call Saul, and this is on the episode Hero. Not that it really matters. Well, other than to say we're one episode behind. Basically... We were watching the first 10 minutes without hearing any voices. We were like, what the? Because you could hear all the background. Like they were in the woods. You can hear the chirping. You can hear the crickets chirping. You can hear everything except for the voices. And they're just there doing their. And you're like, okay. And it was enough where you could actually get like, you thought they were going with the silent treatment because you're like, okay, well, she's trying to pay him off. He's saying no. He's staying to his
They're acting a way where you can tell
what's going to be the event that actually brings the sound.
Yeah. So I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like, and I'm like, while the episode's going on, I started Wikipedia the episode real quick just to read what we've already watched. And they have very explicit details like how much money these people are paying. I'm like, something's not right here. So I backed all the way out of Amazon, went back into it, and we were 10 minutes in, and it started back up at the very beginning, and you hear the voices. I'm like, we just listened to 10 minutes, and for some reason their voices never played. Like we thought they were going some like visual concept for this episode.
That's a really cool direction.
Yeah, I was like, this is interesting.
You should tweet Vince Gilligan and be like, you should try this for your next episode.
Because we thought for the first 10 minutes, we were like, okay, this is an interesting way to go with this episode.
High concept television show.
Yeah.
Cool.
But just you saying that's an interesting concept. That reminded me because that's the exact words that came out of our mouth when we were watching that episode. Like why? This is interesting.
The show's known, and this the creator's known for very interesting concepts.
Yeah, but that's actually what it was.
No, I know. Yeah. Hearing that, if you were to say that's what he did, that would not have surprised me. That sounds like something he would have done.
Yeah.
Said this is going to be a silent film in a way.
Yeah.
10-minute little sequence.
Yeah, no, I had the whole thing been completely silent, then I would have questioned it quicker. But you could hear, like I said, you hear all the background.
That's
stuff.
weird.
So
That's even
like,
weirder.
Yeah, you can hear the crickets and all that. Like
that makes no sense.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, okay, well,
it's not separate audio tracks. That's so weird. That makes no sense.
It was weird. It was, and the volume obviously wasn't low. We could hear everything except for the voices.
Weird.
That's all I really had to say about Better Call Saul.
Any other television that we've been watching? Watch a cool documentary that I feel like I shouldn't bring up.
I haven't even watched nothing. I don't know what the hell you guys do watching stuff.
You really want to bet? You watch like every comedy stand-up thing on your...
No, he only watches The Big Lebowski.
Well,
he did just watch all of House of Cards in one night.
Yeah. He could have let it go on a little bit.
I come into the house and see him on the couch watching the show. And I'm like, oh, okay, no big deal. And I listen to him like, that motherfucker's watching House of Cards when we were supposed to watch it all together.
Oh, you got. That's why you want to jump all on the 3-on-1 net neutrality. 3-on-1. We all think House of Cards is great this season, but wait until you see like the last 3 episodes. You're like, what is this soap opera?
You're getting into your grind.
It's a drama show.
You're getting into your grind.
Yeah, but there's like a difference between soap opera drama and then Mad Men drama. Okay. There's a major difference there.
Well, is there any more topics that we got, guys? How you feel?
Oh, nice, quick.
Oh, one thing. Boris Nemtsov being assassinated.
All right, here's
he's shot in the back 4
times.
times.
All right, Kevin, let's relax here. Grab your pillow.
This is a topic for all of us. You guys don't care about what happens.
That's not that I don't respect the guys, because I didn't read up on this part, so I won't have any. I've heard what your opinion is.
He was the next prime minister. I think under Gorbachev.
I don't know if he was even like a prime minister. He was a deputy. He was a deputy under Yeltsin.
What a dime.
It's not his golden penny, is it?
No, better not be. I found a golden penny in my change the other day.
How much is it worth?
10 to 35 cents for a penny. What's up?
Wow, that's amazing.
How about ROI on that?
But
save that, and then when you're cryogenically frozen, and then unfrozen in the year 3000. or 4,000. You wanted 4,000.
You guys don't get my hopes
so much
up.
money.
Don't get my hopes up
Holy
about
shit,
being
Al.
cryogenically frozen. I don't need that.
Let's start a
Brendon,
fundraiser.
All of our sports cards.
Oh,
we got to cryogenically freeze them.
Give it to Al. Yeah, this is for
Now,
Al.
I'll just make it quick because I kind of want to play the game.
Well,
now.
explain who he is and everything.
Yeah, he was pretty much, for the most part, since the early 2000s, he was like a major figure in the Russian opposition, even in the early 2000s, to what the Kremlin and Putin was. And when, in the early 2000s, if anybody remembers, the United States thought, well, Putin is a good guy. He's doing ICBM missile treaties with Bush. We got him first person to call us, sending his condolences after the 9/11 attack. So we all just imagine this Putin to be a new leaf under Russian politics, as do the Russian people. Different things are emerging. At that point in time, the free market capitalists in Russia are kind of booming with what they're doing now, especially in the energy and mining fields. Everybody has this idea of Putin, but there's this short-lived grace period of Putin where he imposed this false impression on himself, and then when he actually started getting really dirty with opposition. One of the first things that he done on like a major, huge basis was that he jailed Mikhail Khodorkovsky, and this was a Russian oil tycoon billionaire, and he just basically stripped him of his assets because Khodorkovsky disagreed with him in public about something and then did it again, and they told him, dude, you shouldn't be coming back to Russia because you're going to be jailed. Khodorkovsky didn't care. He's like, I have businesses to run. He even started up a banking system in Russia. All right, this guy was like a true modern capitalist, starting from a communist system and going into a crony capitalist system, but he actually put the things in place during the Yeltsin that made a lot of new values in Russian commerce be able to happen. So this guy deserves a lot of dap in my book. But anyway, yeah, this guy was jailed for about 10 years, finally released a couple years ago, or a year ago. It was a year ago. And he's based somewhere else in like Switzerland or Germany, somewhere like that, and is arguing against Putin. And his rhetoric against Putin has been ratcheted up to the point to where he truly believes Putin will be disposed of by the people, even though we see that Putin has like a over 80 or 90% approval rating by his people. There's been tens of millions, if not at least half of the country, just disappointed with Putin. And it really started mostly with a 2010 just protests they had in what they call the Swamp, which is an area in Moscow. All these different protests for free and fair elections and all that stuff. Because prior to that time, he done that to Khodorkovsky. He done other things to where he assassinated people overseas that disagreed with him. He assassinated a lawyer that disagreed with him, Magnitsky, or however you pronounce that. And as far as Nemtsov goes, Nemtsov has been on an early charge against Putin since Putin's inception. So he was understood as a true oppositional figure. And he had like a seat in parliament, I think, for this specific area, and that area prospered under his time and all that. And then what I mentioned earlier, with this rhetoric being ratcheted up, I think a constant understanding of that rhetoric where Putin will eventually be disposed of. Putin wanted to send a clear message to the one of the leading opposition figures, and that's just he's gonna die in front of everybody to see. You know, being shot, assassinated, like Nemtsov was. Ben, you know, I'm a big fan of all the opposition that's ever been against Putin. So it irked me and it pissed me off.
And if you guys want like a frame of reference as to what kind of president Putin is, Petrov in House of Cards is a mirror image.
Except Petrov's taller.
Gotcha.
Except Petrov's taller. Yeah, Putin's a little guy who might have autism.
All right. He's a bad guy.
He's a bad guy. Petrov's ex-KGB, Putin's ex-KGB.
There's a lot of references to Petrov having all these type of tough guy persona, pictures taken of him.
Yeah.
There's a lot of references to Putin that they try to make Petrov out to be.
Okay, that's good.
That's the kind of deal there. And Petrov's divorced. Putin's been recently divorced. There's a scandal out that Putin was gay and all this and that too.
So, what does this mean for the world?
Russian opposition or the world? Well, the world, in my opinion, has not cared when a major oil tycoon that could have actually kept oil prices stabilized, because he wanted to do business with pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
With his lower prices, knowing that he could do more business. Horakovsky. He was jailed. His freaking assets were taken right around, I think, 2004, somewhere around that time. And that's when, coincidentally, you've seen oil prices just start to spike up. Yeah.
And another big thing, too, is Russia is a very big country with a lot of resources, with a lot of nuclear weapons, and a very large military. They are ruled by somebody who doesn't adhere to any sort of laws or basic decency in terms of how they govern. Yeah. Now, the ramifications of this kind of person in the world and what they do with Russia's nuclear weapons, with their military, with their natural resources, should be a big concern to the United States, to Europe, to everybody. We already see what they've done in Ukraine, what they've done in Georgia. This is a man who does what he wants. And he's very concerned with bringing Russia back to its past prominence by playing up old communist Soviet ideas, even though he doesn't adhere to any sort of communism now. But as far as the centralization of power in his office, he is someone who has taken advantage of that and modeled it after past Soviet regimes and leaders. And it should be something that we are all very concerned with, because who knows what he does next? You don't know. This man is a wild card.
Alex, who's the one heading up the investigation for his assassination?
It's the good old Vladimir Putin himself. But also, to bring Russia into a better context, when they collapsed, when the Soviet system, the communist system collapsed, there's people to gain from that, because ultimately what you envision...
The Metsov was one of those people.
What you envision when a communist system collapses, where people own the factories and all that, well, those factories become worthless. In general speaking, factories, any means of manufacturing, any means of industry, production, any of that, there's a lower value, and the people that already have the means to acquire it will acquire it for even a lower cost.
Okay.
During Yeltsin, there was at least an attempt to actually create some sort of value from all of the manufacturing and industry that was lost. But eventually, people understood that there's a lot of people that managed to just rein in all the loose ends of that and have their own billionaire monopolies from it. That's why Russia is a country where there's a bunch of billionaire people that own mining rights and all of that. Well, that's because communist system collapsed. They got to enjoy the spoils of that, when everybody else just had to adapt to a new system. And whenever there's a new system in place, from communism to whatever that was, it's going to be tough on the populace. That's just the way it is. And it got to the point, that's another thing that triggered a lot of the uprising, especially like in 2010, is that they called people like the people that acquired all these assets, I'm not even going to say that one, but the people that acquired all these assets, swindlers and thieves. The famous blogger Alexei Navalny, another major figure in the opposition movement, ran for mayor, almost brought it to a runoff election just by being a blogger, lawyer type of person, activist. Almost managed to have a chance at a runoff election against the standing mayor. Yeah, that is awesome. But it's like, well, that's democracy in play. Well, there was a lot of votes for the other guy, Sobyanin, or however you pronounce his name, that it was bogus votes, just like there's a lot of bogus votes for Putin. But in reality, the last election Russia had, it was like 5 or 6 Putin cronies and then Putin himself. There was really no competitor to Putin.
I always thought about that, like having to run for president but not being like a politician, like a known politician, like be a blogger, not necessarily a blogger, but be like a nobody, like one of us, and doing like the internet way.
Yeah. Well, he had some really good methods to get himself out there, and there were other key figures that agreed with him and all that, and like this whole opposition group. There's even a documentary about this oil tycoon I'm talking about, Khodorkovsky, on Netflix. Boris Nemtsov has a little bits and pieces in that documentary. All right, this opposition, there's a nice clump of them that stick together, and that's kind of been the key for them. But like I said, this whole Boris Nemtsov getting shot deal, that is as crystal clear as of a message saying your rhetoric doesn't stand to the bloodshed.
Kremlin, right?
Yeah,
he was assassinated.
Yeah.
Walking
with like a Ukrainian model.
Wow. That's big. So,
and then their propaganda outlets want to blame it on us, say, "Oh, he was a CIA
informative."
That kind of deal.
Wow.
And
was he?
No.
Okay.
No, dude, all these people that get tried by Putin. Okay, yeah, we have a billionaire, oil tycoon, goes to jail. They'll say that the same thing about him. Well, he's CIA. That's why. No, they'll say the same thing about Nemtsov's little under.
Point of the story: Putin's very corrupt. Yeah. He'll say whatever it takes to get what he wants.
Putin?
And my point, we won't stand up to him whatsoever.
Now, when you say real quick, when you say they say, are you saying it's a newspaper that's controlled by Putin, or
just about almost all of? I want to say
Russians actually believe this, like North Korea believes their propaganda.
Not to that point. No, they know this is screwed up. But like to what we talked about the other night, when they understand they're being watched, when they understand there's such an authoritative regime, they'll keep silent on what they actually think.
Yeah. Or the day before he was assassinated, there was supposed to be a big rally on March 1st against the war in the Ukraine. And amongst other things, anti-Putin sort of deal. That protest stayed on. It still happened, right? And the gentleman who was assassinated was supposed to head up that protest. RT, Russia Today, it's sort of like Russia's CNN, BBC. I went on their webpage the day after just to see how to spin it. And the protest, they said, from the Russia propaganda machine, was to honor the death of the guy that was assassinated. So that's how propaganda works. That's how they twist things. They look at things from an angle that is advantageous to them, and they ignore exactly what's going on. So the protest was actually a protest against Putin and the war in Ukraine, but the way Russian media reported on it was, it's just to honor a fallen Russian. So they report on it, but they twist it.
So that was the Russian foreign news outlets, like to us.
Yeah, that's what they.
So they're trying to let us know that everything's okay over there.
Oh yeah, that's how they do it.
Is that what happens to us though? Is that what our foreign?
Well, to some degree. To some degree, you could say that, but for the most part, we just ignore things that we don't want to hear. So if
like people hear about us.
No, I think
you think we're pretty
open about protests and what happens here. Okay. We let people know what's going on. We don't twist things like that, but it's up if CNN or MSNBC has the ability to report on a protest in New York City about some bank regulations or whatever it is. A lot of times it'll have this happened today and they'll move on. So it's just a matter of if it's important. They'll report on it, but they may not say it's important, or they may say it is important, but they just don't give a lot of time to it. They talk about puppies.
Cool.
So
puppies are awesome.
That's our propaganda. Talk about puppies and tits. And we love puppies and tits.
Where was that during the tits conversation?
Dude, tits are always relevant.
There's a saying about tits that people back in the day used to call them puppies.
They did call puppies. Look at those puppies.
Jerry the King Lawler, WWF.
Yeah, I know. It's a solid wrestling reference. Yeah. I know the exact chick he was talking about.
They're usually
too.
soft like
Sable.
puppies.
Yeah. I remember.
Well,
little teenage boy. Let's get on the grinds, guys. Let's move this thing along.
Before the grinds, always comes the picks.
What? Picks?
No, Al. Just
none of us have pros.
You're a hater.
Your House of Cards, you already told us your House of Cards grind is going to take like 3 hours, so we're going to wait to get to that.
No, it's actually going to be pretty quick. I was just trying to rush everything along. I want to play this Worms game.
We'll go in the order that we always go. I will start. My pick for today will be related to our Loot Crate video of the one that we just had for February. In that Loot Crate was a book called Ready Player One by Ernest Cline, and it stars a character that is in this world that is involved in this future technology that transports people into this massively role-playing game, but basically everyone in the world is in this world, and that's how they live life, and that's how they go to school, that's how they see their friends, is through this virtual reality. And the main character has to he's sucked into this game, if you will, of inheritance, where he has to win challenges of retro culture, mainly of the 80s. There's a lot of references to the 80s culture in this book, and it was a nice surprise to see that in the Loot Crate video, and I challenged Kevin to read it. I don't know if he ever did it.
I haven't looked into it yet.
Yeah.
But I have the book. It's right there on my table.
He's too busy watching Let's Plays. Yeah. Give the man a break.
Playing games.
And playing games. Hopefully he's playing games.
I have 30 achievements since the last podcast.
Nice, Kev. Yeah. Since the last podcast, I overtook Kevin in overall achievement score.
Dude, no, the last
score.
podcast.
Sorry, it needs to be retold, I guess. Whatever. Yeah, the Achievement Wars is going strong. That's also part of my pick. Achievement Wars.
Yeah.
It's real. It's happening.
Yeah.
Brendon, what's
My
your pick?
is in Pensacola, Florida.
Oh, what?
A man caught the first great white shark
What?
from shore
No.
in the Gulf of Mexico.
Holy cow.
Ever. It's never been done before.
Yeah, that's really...
10-foot great white shark caught from the shoreline.
The shoreline?
Yep, 10-foot
What
great
the-
white.
Oh, crap.
It's never been done.
What was it doing out there?
Global warming.
It was. It was doing its thing.
Okay.
The Wi-Fi had it all screwed up
Oh
from
my
the new net
goodness.
neutrality rules.
Get the
It
fuck
had
out
it
of
here. It was one of those
Get
snagged
the
great whites
Ow.
from South America.
The
Your
GPS
band.
app was off.
Yeah.
Garmin was telling it to go left, it should have gone right.
It was like, okay, I'll go right, and then it got caught.
Go ahead, Brendon.
Something I don't like, though. This isn't my grind, but talking about PETA earlier.
Yeah, fuck PETA.
Animal rights groups were complaining that they took that's called a hero pick. When you catch a big shark, you go and you take a picture with it, and then you release it.
Okay.
So a bunch of people were saying he should have released it right away. He should have taken a picture with it. What he did was he went behind it, he grabbed its nose up, and showed its teeth.
That's pretty ballsy.
Pretty ballsy. I
Holy-
respect it completely.
Yeah.
And
Of course
then
he
he
would.
released it perfectly fine.
Oh, of course you would, but holy, that's a great white shark.
I'm just saying. Of course, Brendon would. At least he's cool about that.
Yeah, I'm cool with it. So they said that he should have released it right away. That it caused harm.
Whatever. It's a fucking shark.
It's a shark. It's a shark. It swam off just
They
fine.
kill more people
It's not the first
than
time the
planes do.
Exactly.
Do
they? Do they
Yeah,
kill
they
more
do.
No,
They do.
no.
I
Well, accidents. I think
After this past year,
or
with,
lightning
With
storm.
Malaysian Airlines,
yeah.
Southeast Asian Airlines has fucked that up for all.
Yeah, yeah.
That and then
No longer happens.
This
Russian
year-
Russian paramilitary.
2014
shooting
was the
down.
outlier year for planes. There's a lot of fucked up things that happened in planes in 2014.
There is actually a report out that one of those airliners that we never found was actually taken to Kazakhstan and maybe used as some sort of weapon.
Holy.
One of the main analysts on CNN came out and said that, everyone stopped talking about it. I continue to research it. The guy has all the credentials you could possibly want from somebody who's researching something like this, and he says that he thinks that's what happened. That it was hijacked and then flown into Kazakhstan.
That's what I read, something
who knows,
like that.
Who knows where it is now, and who knows what's going to be used for. Hopefully that's not the case. But
so all those people on the plane are now prisoners?
Probably dead.
Prisoners may be killed or dead. They just want the
plane. The plane for what? As a bomb maker?
If they ever came up on TV, if they ever came on TV and said, "Yeah, we got these people who were on that flight. We want ransom money," all of a sudden everyone knows where their airplane went, so they're not gonna. Probably, if they have a devious plan for this plane,
and that's the scary thing about it.
They're never gonna.
We're worried about terrorist attacks in this country. The biggest worry with countries like Iran, they're trying to build a nuclear weapon and support militant Islam.
That's another topic.
That's gonna be my grind.
Next podcast.
But there's no way to transport a nuclear weapon because they're so big. So a militant organization wouldn't be able to get it. They could maybe get it into a port, a crate of some sort, but it wouldn't cause maximum damage. So with a delivery system like a large plane, it becomes more plausible for a terrorist organization to fly that plane wherever they
possibly easier
with a nuclear weapon and hit at the heart of New York City, Washington D.C., Tokyo, Paris, whatever the hell they're going to do.
Let's hope that doesn't happen. Al, what's your pick?
My pick? God, I never had.
We liking things on Fractal Minds.
There's a guy, I can't ever pronounce his name right. Let me.
Wow.
Kevin, you go.
Al, we need to have a talk.
Wait, you're like.
Huh? Alright, my pick's real quick. So, there is this TV show that Brendon and Alex actually watched for a long time. I don't know how far he got into it, but I figured finally I'll start something new. So I started watching The Americans, which is actually so that's actually very good. I watched actually the first episode, but it was an hour and 12-minute long episode. So
the premiere?
Yep.
Oh wow.
The first premiere.
Like that.
And so really
watch it.
Huh?
Amazon or
Amazon has
cool.
It. It could be. Amazon does have these certain seasons, like certain shows that. All right, it's free, but it's only the first season, so it'll get you hooked in. And the second season, you got to pay for everything. So I don't know. I haven't looked at the second season. I'm afraid to. Maybe I should before I get into it. But
Kevin, there's so many more shows you can watch for free before that.
Well, I know. So
The Americans is a really top-notch show.
Yeah,
there's so many more shows for free.
Yeah, but they're all crap. They're all like Bosch.
There's another 5-star show.
But basically, it's just based off of. It's during the Cold War, and it's.
It's during the 80s. It's during almost like the mid 80s, I think. Anywhere from 83 to 85.
Okay.
That time period.
So during the time of the Cold War.
We got a lot of 80s music playing in the show.
And basically, you have this family who is actually Russian, they're basically this husband and wife.
It's called the Americans.
Yes.
No, they're Russian spies. The family are Russian spies.
What? The mom and they're actually they have very good American accents and what I can't think of the word I was trying to think of before you gave me the pick was that word Russians who go to America they leave
like a double-aught spy.
Not a spy, but they not disband.
Sleeper agent?
No, they leave the Russia. They basically go to.
Immigrate here?
Not immigrate because they're giving America all the information. The guy the very first guy that. Well, I don't know how many you got. Like you're 4 seasons in, so you probably don't know remember the first episode.
No, I haven't watched any bit of the newest season because I don't have cable. But
yeah, fuck cable.
But
cut the wire, folks.
Basically, they're going after these Russians who have disbanded from the what they're in. What is it? Communist state? Like it's communism.
That's not that they disbanded from. They're still.
But they're
agents.
given. Well, I mean, not the guy that they hunted down, who's Russian.
Okay, yeah.
What's that guy?
To the Russians, he's compromised, but for him, he's
deserted. He's
Brendon, what's the word for it? Jeez,
a traitor.
Might be deserted. I don't know. Not deserted. There's a word for it. They even said it in the show. Not AWOL. It starts with a D. I can't think of the
deactivated.
Nope.
No.
For a guy who he goes.
He's a dick.
He leaves Russia to go to America.
He's a dick.
He goes to America and he finds
a dissident. You're talking about a dissident.
Possibly.
Okay.
Basically, these people that are in the Russian government. They're the people who are the KGB, I guess. These guys who are in the KGB, and they leave Russia to go find, they go into America, and all of a sudden they turn on Russia while they're in America, and they start giving, the FBI and everything. They start getting the secrets. They get amnesty. They get all this protection from our government to live in U.S. soil as long as they give up secrets from Russia. And now you got this Russian family who are looking for these Russians who left Russia, and they're getting them to send them back to the motherland to pay for their crimes, basically.
So how do you root for these people?
They're an anti-hero and a drama, just like anybody else these days.
Yep.
I would support a Russian anti-hero.
There's a lot of people that do, just because you see the way they have to bring honor to their country and honor in what they do.
Just to give you perspective, I'm gonna some slight spoilers in the first episode. Like the woman, she was trained over there in
Carrie
Russia.
Russell.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, she was raped by her trainee, because that's one of the advantages of being a Russian trainer is you get to have your way with the women prospects or whatever.
Well, is that a training thing? Like
is that one of the exercises?
Not so.
Is that a real thing, or is that a way to make you
stuff?
That's just part of the show. That's just part of the show, guys. You can think about it how you want, but.
Yeah.
Yo, Russia's fucked up.
But then the guy who plays her husband, because there's two Russian people, they're not husband and wife. Kind of like you were with House of Cards, but that's a whole different ballgame. But basically, you have these two people. They're basically husband and wife. They have kids just so they can look like an American family.
They're not really husband and wife. They're,
correct.
Okay.
They're agents.
Do you want to see them fail, though? Do you want to see them get the people?
There's one point where I kind of like. You already have like a main character who's the FBI agent. At least in the first season, I don't know if anything happens. I don't know spoilers or twists. But there's an actor who's well known who's an FBI agent who moves across the street from them, and he meets them, and they come over. Hey, how's it going? They bring over brownies because they have like clean American accents, and they're like, oh yeah, who do you work for? Oh, I work for para-intelligence or counterintelligence for FBI. They're like. Okay.
So they're neighbors, yeah.
And these are people looking for Russians and everything, cool. So it's just kind of...
So how far are you?
First episode.
First episode.
That's all. All that happens in the first episode. There's so much that happens.
You're digging it?
I'm liking it so far.
Yeah, dude, you watch it to the second season, it's awesome. Now, I haven't watched the third season yet, because there's not 4, there's 3 seasons.
Okay.
So stop
I apologize. I didn't know how many...
all right,
on to the grinds, guys.
No, pick. I haven't picked.
Alex.
Okay, I was, believe it or not, guys, I actually do this just about every time I'm coming back from my parents' house. I typically listen to either a podcast by Adam Carolla or I listen to NPR. Yeah, that's right. Wow. Yeah. And luckily, when I was listening to NPR, this guy was making a speech. I didn't know who it was at the time. But I was a big fan when I listened to him talk. It was James G. Starvis, if that's how you pronounce his last name. I'm just trying to make it quick.
Okay.
And he's the U.S. European Command of the pretty much NATO. So
what was he talking about?
Oh, he's just talking about all the different conflicts that's going on in his own pleasant way and how...
His perspective on this?
Yeah, how he helped train like the Afghani police and what that actually brought, or the Iraqi police and what that actually brought, and understanding the perspective of those police battalions. Because we just look at it like, why can't they just figure out how to police their own country? But we're asking, why can't these people who some of them don't even know how to read police their own country?
Yeah.
And he's actually the most humanist type of general I've ever seen, yet still on point about military tradition. It's unbelievable. This guy's top notch. I mean, to me, this guy is like Dwight D. Eisenhower of the common day. He's awesome. So that's my pick of the week.
Cool.
I like the guy.
It's a cool pick. I like that.
And I don't like a lot of people in government. That's the guy I like.
Yeah, government is full of...
So you guys get your birds out.
Grinds. Alex, we grind here. We don't burn. We only grind. I guess I'll start like we always do. My grind haul, it's going to be less effective now that Alex is out of the room, but my grind is when I'm on my lunch break and I want to watch something on my phone and my internet decides not to work that great. That's my grind. I want fast internet. I want it now. Net neutrality, here we come.
There you go.
Brendon, what's your grind?
Is that net neutrality or is that an aluminum can that we were?
It's more just I just want to poke at Alex, and now he's on this fucking ruined.
Well, we can come back to that.
Moving on. Nope, I just want to move on.
Brendon, you have your...
Yep, my grind is presidents or prime ministers of foreign countries coming to our country to address Congress to support policy that promotes their country without going through the normal channels you would normally go through to do that sort of thing.
Interesting.
Today, Benjamin Netanyahu, the president of Israel, or prime minister of Israel, gave a speech to Congress against U.S. policy with Iran. I don't fault him for his positions, but normally when a foreign leader visits another country, they first meet with the president and discuss things. They don't do it to be at odds with the president. And regardless of what you think of the president, I think it's disrespectful to the office of the presidency. It is disrespectful to the US. Governing. It's disrespectful to the United States. So the Republicans loved it, but it wasn't the right thing to do, and that's my grind.
I don't like how, if it's something that's disrespectful for the United States, like Republicans love it. Like that's again that
exactly
whole,
the fact that the Republicans system thing. The fact that they love it, the fact that you have a leader of a foreign country going to your country, disrespecting the policy of your country.
Exactly.
And because you're not in power and you're against the person in power, you're going to support a foreign leader. Yeah. I don't like it.
Exactly.
I don't like it. Yeah. You can disagree with the policy inside of the country and you can fight the president, but don't bring in leaders outside of the country to discuss things.
Yeah.
It's just out of place. Yeah. And it leaves a bad taste.
I agree. Al, so Al has a grind. I don't know what it could be about at all.
James's was net neutrality because he couldn't get any reception in the lunchroom.
Of course. Hey, you know what? Just ask the government to help you out.
Yep.
That's what they're there for. Anyway, so my grind, and it's a pretty deep grind, because while watching House of Cards, what you might have not seen yet is that Frank Underwood campaigns a lot. And I was watching this, and sure, it's on a fictional show, trying to base it as real as they can.
Based on the BBC series.
But what really just stood out to me, and then I just finally realized in all my understanding of politics and how much I've followed it over the years, is how really sad it is to campaign on just such a general platform.
America works?
No. That's not what I'm getting at all. I'm just talking about in general. You have people, regardless of whether party, they're just begging the people to understand. Vote for me because I have a better plan for you. And to me, that's just sad. And this country gets so involved to where they're donating money to these people that really shouldn't even have any type of plan aside from what you're already doing to better your own self. Okay? And they're like, oh, without me, you won't have this coming through in the government. Or you won't have this going through in the government. Or this and that. It's pathetic to me. It's really sad that so many people that are just doing fine by themselves.
Game of...
No, I just don't like people politicizing other people's helpless and hopelessness. It's just sad. It's really bad. And we just all get enthralled, no matter which political party you are. You get enthralled into voting for somebody that you believe has a better message for you. But it's like they're touring around the country begging for your vote, but at the same time they're telling you without their vote, this country can't move forward. It's pathetic.
That's the game.
But that's my grind. That's just grind. Lame.
So your perception of Frank Underwood or House of Cards changes going into season 4?
It's not even about that. It's just a thought that I conjured up. It's like, man, how lame do people really get where they're like, and when you see the audience clapping for a guy that's making just pandering to him, regardless of what party you're with, they're just like, Yeah, just feeding them cookies with what they're saying. They're like, "Give me more cookies, please."
That's the whole game now.
It's like children. It's not that it's a game. It's
It
pathetic.
is a game.
It's pathetic.
It is pathetic.
It's like below human.
Yes, it is. All right, Kevin, what's your grind?
All right, my grind. As you all remember, I brought up head transplants or body transplants, however you look at it. And one topic that's brought up with people for gay rights and stuff. One thing you might hear, or for transgender people, and you probably already know where I'm going with this. Apparently, I'll get to why this is my grind. Surgeon's eye first human head that's from my we talked about earlier. Basically, people are already looking forward to, if you don't feel right in your body, because people feel gay, they don't feel right in their body, so they have this whole sexual organ change.
They're questioning.
Huh?
LGBTQ. Questioning.
Sure. But no.
Is the Q a new thing?
Yeah.
Huh,
That's
really?
been a
They
new
added
thing.
a Q.
I didn't know that.
They added the Q about like 5 or 6 months ago. Yeah, I kid you not.
Okay, cool. Okay.
But basically, head transplants could replace gender reassignment surgery for gender dysphoria.
Wow.
So people who feel out of place in their body because they're gay, instead of getting just their junk changed, they get a whole head transplant to go get into a female body.
Wow.
Seems like a weird mind issue.
Look, well, my issue with that is that this is groundbreaking.
That's very progressive.
It's a mind issue, but also a society issue. But go ahead.
Well, like I said, it's just like, I mean...
That's a compelling reason to tax the rich.
Well, it's just... The reason this bothers me is because we're looking at something that could change the way... Like, change things for people who have serious... It sounds really bad saying it like that, but serious issues such as handicaps. Okay? People can't walk. They're in wheelchairs. People who... They're just completely paralyzed. And that's one way, that's what this is going to help. But they're already looking forward. This is like 2 years out. This is still very new. You know, the whole transplanting a head, you know. I will be so mad if, like, you know, the test head transplant procedure is done on someone so they can feel right in a female body. Or a female's head put on a male so she feels right on a male body. Like, it just seems like a waste of a human body, basically. Because,
well, that body is a dead body, presumably.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to benefit anyone from being just in the ground.
Yeah, it could benefit
burned.
somebody who actually needed a healthy body.
What if that person, they ultimately don't feel right in their own body?
mm-hmm.
So, I mean, who's to say what is right or wrong to do?
I know. I just feel like that's something that can be brought up maybe after it's something. Like, instead of already, like, of all the things that you could bring up, that possibilities for head transplants and body transplants, the first thing to be brought up, this is just something that was brought up the day after last week's broadcast, but I saw the headline on the first thing.
Yeah.
And less than a week later, actually I think it was less than a few days, this was actually an article on February 27th, a few days after, all right, head transplants, it could be a thing in 2 years. 3 days later, all right, we can finally get that whole, you know, I don't feel right in a man's body, so I'm going to get my head put on a female body. Like, it just, for that to be their first, like, that's kind of selfish in my opinion.
Well, I mean, they're...
You don't know what they've been through, Kevin.
Yeah,
Why are you so quick to judge?
That's my big issue with it, is that your feelings, you don't feel right.
Yeah.
You know, fuck your feelings. In any given
That's what I'm saying.
you know, in any given arena, if it's, you know, sexual feeling, whatever it is, like, fucking toughen up a little bit. Like, to have this big to-do about all this stuff, like, it's about people's feelings.
Yeah.
It's just so pussified.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. It seems like something like a head transplant, and you're going to give someone a new body, they better be dying of cancer. You know, it better be like a real issue. And even then, it's questionable.
Yeah.
You know, people with their feelings, obviously everyone should be respected, and, you know, everyone should be able to do whatever it is they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But for everyone to be concerned with how other people feel all the time, it's just... There's real things going on in the world.
Yeah.
There's real things going on in the world, and obviously everyone should be respected, but I don't give a fuck about your feelings.
That's a good summation of what it is.
I think that's how I feel about it. I don't know if
That's my good. That's how I feel. All right, that wraps
Jane
up my
Dillon
grind.
disagrees.
Or let's go with your counterpoint.
YOLO.
YOLO.
YOLO. There you go.
Good. I like that. All right, so we're done with this podcast?
Yeah, man, that was a lot of fun.
All
Good
right.
podcast.
Wraps it up for this week.
Yes.
Let's play Worms.
We're going to play some Worms on Xbox One. First time with all 4 of us in this room with Brendon.
I'm going to get destroyed because I don't know what I'm doing.
Good. Thanks for joining, everyone. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. We are enjoying this new platform that we're on with the Purity Network. We joined a lot of Twitter groups and Facebook groups, and we got a lot of new fans today. So,
and I'm going to look into a possible thing that we can. I can't think.
The
thingy thing that we can actually stream a podcast better than Twitch. Twitch is more of a gaming. I mean, it's more of a gaming streaming site, not for podcasts. So I think that's why we didn't get hit hard. So I want to look into that, and hopefully, if we get we find a website or something that will stream podcasts.
I think it's time to look at iTunes too.
Yeah,
we need to post this other places. So. Look forward to the growth of Fractal Minds. We are a growing product.
Shout out to the Purity Network.
Yes, thank you guys. Thanks for shouting out to us and inviting us to be a part of your network.
Official YouTube partners.
As always.
This is Kevin.
This is James.
This is Brendon.
This is Al.
Until next time.